not good in Modern, in my opinion. I don't want to cut any of the swords. Triple Sword's been really good. So, like, one thing... let's get this out of the way. We say this every time we play this deck, but it's important to hammer this point home. This deck, compared to other Stoneblade decks, really likes to draw swords. Swords are actually actively good draws in this deck compared to other Stoneblade decks where you're maybe less happy to naturally draw one of your swords. Sword of Fire and Ice is the most powerful sword by a lot. Sorry, you are happy to draw them because of the Fervent Champions. I think we're getting a crash here. Fog, thank you for the 17 months. Appreciate you, buddy. And I think you want to, when you naturally draw your swords, I think you want to maximize the power level of those draw steps by just having Sword of Fire and Ice be that draw step every single time. It's also true that when you play extra tutor targets with your tutor effect, in this case Stoneforge Mystic, those tutor targets have diminishing returns on the flexibility it gives your deck in exchange for power level. We already have 4 different tutor targets. A 5th tutor target or a 6th tutor target would not increase the versatility of Stoneforge Mystic enough to make up for the diminished power level of playing Emrakul or Sword of Light and Shadow in your deck, in my opinion. Emrakul is also a particularly bad equipment to get off of Stoneforge Mystic because it gives your opponent perfect information to play around it. Like the big nice thing about Emrakul is the surprise factor, right? But if you tutor it up, your opponent knows what's up. It's also true that in a format full of cheap removal spells and there's not a ton of blocking either, Emrakul also doesn't shine, where it's not like you're like punching through big blockers in this format like you are in Standard. In fact, it's like kind of tough to be attacking with even 2 creatures in the format, which makes Emrakul like even hard to cast it for 4 mana, much less 2 or 3 where you really want it to be. It's hard to attack with 4 creatures. I'll keep this on the draw against Luris, kind of close. I like this card a lot. I think it's very cool, potentially modern playable. Yeah, all 3 abilities seem very good. And all 4 abilities. I sorry, the static ability too, right? You know, with Tezzeret get to sack clues for 0 mana. It's obviously not like a huge deal, but it's kind of interesting, right? Yeah, I was worried about playing the Fury Tide deck because there has been a lot of the Omnath deck lately. That's kind of been why I've been off of it. We haven't played against it today, though. It may be a good day for some Fury Tide. I haven't played it in a while either. Oh yeah, Tezzeret also works with those swords pretty well too. That's a good point, yeah. Red card would be good to draw. Be amazing to draw. Yeah, it was pretty brave of them to leave me with this Fury. If they had bobbled me before, did they bobble me before Thought Seizing actually? If they did and they didn't take the Fury, that was obviously a huge punt on their part, right? Oh, they got a Rat Ninjas in this set? Silver Fur Master, blue-black, Ninjutsu, 2. Ninjutsu abilities cost 1 less to activate. Ninja and other rogue creatures you control get +1/+1. It's pretty cool. Hard to dislike that card. I guess I'll believe that they have Fatal Push. Yeah, I haven't seen the new Jinga Taxis. There's also a new Besage. Okay, let's look at Besage first. Someone wants to link the Jinka Taxis. I've missed it. Okay, so Besage is another one of these legendary lands with the channel ability. Channel, discard Besage who endures, destroy target artifact, enchantment, or non-basic land opponent controls. The player may search the library for land with basic type, put it on the battlefield, and shuffle. Ability costs 1 less for each legendary creature you control. Yeah, I don't really like lands like this that like the first copy is just a free roll. You know what I mean? It's like just like playing the first copy of this Boseiju in a lot of green decks is gonna be pretty free, and it's gonna be like just kind of mandatory. Card is very strong though. Yeah, entering untapped. Yeah, very good in Titan for sure. This card is actually be very, very strong in Titan. That's a great point. Yeah, not a design I like that much, but definitely a cool card, powerful card. Land would be great here. Guess I could try to draw it next turn, but I just want to give this fly over the Luris to kill him next turn. The Fatal Push would be pretty bad. Captain Walmart, thank you for the 5 months. Appreciate you, buddy. Did anybody link the Jingataxis? Yeah, I've already seen the Tezzeret. Whenever you cast an artifact, instant, or sorcery, copy it. Cool. 7 mana. Whenever an opponent casts an artifact, instant, or sorcery, counter it. It triggers only once each turn. Well, that's an EDH staple right there. Boseiju plus Ren and 6. Yeah, these cards, like, yeah, also, like, buffing Ren and 6, I agree, is dubious at best, shall we say. Underdog, thank you for Twitch Prime. Appreciate you, buddy. Okay, my opponent's hand is Ragavan, mystery card. That mystery card is a Fatal Push. We can go ahead and lose this game. Otherwise, we can draw a land right now from all the Skyclaves. So I Solitude the Luris. They gain 3 up to 8. I attack them. Don't quite kill them here, I guess. Still a pretty good draw. Maybe I was supposed to keep them all to fly over like a possible Death Shadow. I'll just grab Kaldra instead of doing that. Design cards for standard, not modern, lol. I mean, I don't know. What's your point? They've drowned. They can't drown the Ragavan. You have Dress Down plus Push. I guess Push just gets it by itself. Yeah. Also, like, Jingataxis is very clearly designed for EDH. Yeah, it's very true. Dress Down, but why would they tap? They should have left Blood Crypt up, right? So they could draw a red removal spell. Why block there? I've got cards in my deck that they can hit off of Ragavan to kill me. Obviously, like, not blocking is better if I want to try and put this into play, but, like, I've got Solitude. I guess not Solitude. I've got Prismatic Ending. Maybe I was playing too scared. Okay, they don't have to push, though. Red Removal doesn't help. It does help because they have Dress Down in play, right? Or does, they Dress Down so they can kill the Ragavan if they had a red removal spell. And there's also like no 1-mana blue card in their deck. They'd already played their land for turn. Sideboard something like this. Probably put back Solitude since we mulligans. Could put back the Moon too. It's pretty clearly between one of these two cards. I'll put back the Solitude. Yeah, Boseiju against Blood Moon and Titan is like so scary. I agree completely. I guess I'll play the Monkey on turn 1 here. Is Blood Moon too important in the strategies? That could become an Urza Saga deck with Shadow Spirit Toolbox. I mean, I'm not sure that... yes, Blood Moon is really important. It's like something you need to understand about these red-white based decks is that without cards like Blood Moon, you just fold to strategies like Tron and Titan. You just fold in half without the ability to play like these like permanent based disruption cards. And it is, I guess if I had that in hand, I would have gotten a Sacred Foundry on turn 1. Maybe I should have anyways. Just gonna play Stoneforge Mystic here though. Probably getting sort of Fire Nice And it's also like you could play Saga in this deck. That's absolutely true. Ekola's land though is also is pretty costly though. If you look at our mana curve, right, where we have 14 red and white 1-mana spells, and a lot of times you want to go 1-drop, 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 and then if you have a 2-lander with Saga, like that is a bit awkward. Like that's just all of a sudden not something you can do anymore. Saga is also like I don't know that Saga would be like that strong in this archetype either. It would probably be fine, but I do think that players in general do like pretty highly overvalue how strong Saga is. Do you think Toronto main deck Boseiju? Yeah, it doesn't cost them anything. Yeah, it's just like it's like, or almost anything. It'll be great in Tron. It'll be so good in Tron. Yeah, I think people are complaining a lot about this card with Wrenn and 6, and I don't know, that'll probably be a thing in some decks, but this card, Boseiju, is really scary, I think, in mono green Tron and Titan. Just giving them like a way, if they can tutor a land, then they can tutor an answer to a Blood Moon, which is a pretty scary dynamic. I think it's Yawgmoth. I think I'll offer the trade of the front half here. Hopefully Blood Moon's good here. They would still need a basic forest to play the channel costs. Yeah, it's not obviously, but it's not that hard for them to also have one of those, right? Or like for Tron, you can have Chromatic Star, Chromatic Sphere. It looks like Blood Moon's not doing too much this game. Gonna cast it though, that's all we got. Yeah, I haven't seen the new the new Tamiyo. Maybe someone could post it in chat for us. Oh no, they got her. Wait, they're bringing back Phyrexian mana? Okay. Oh boy. The art looks pretty good though. Completed can be paid, so yeah. If was paid, this planeswalker goes with 2 fewer loyalty counters if you Phyrexian cost. Okay, cool. Probably pretty balanced. Tap up to 1 artifact creature, doesn't tap during its next controller's step as a +1. It's pretty cool. Exile target null and permanent card with the mana value X from your graveyard. Create a token of that card. Cool. Create Tamiyo's Notebook, a legendary colorless artifact token with spells you cost 2 less. Tap, draw card. Interesting card. Probably not a modern card. Very cool though. Hopefully they can Jean-Luc Picard Tamiyo. But I'm not necessarily holding my breath. I guess I'm grabbing Kaldra here. I'm not really getting in with the sort of Fire Ice yet. Yeah, I've got the reality chip here. Okay, the reality chip looks like somebody at Wizards definitely played Cyberpunk is all I can say, which is good. That game's great. Equipment Jellyfish. As long as the reality chip is attached to a creature, you may play lands and cast spells from the top of your library. Then we've got a new mechanic here, Reconfigure. 2 and a blue, attached to a target creature you control, or unattached from a creature. Reconfigure only as a sorcery while attached. This isn't a creature. As long as it's attached to a creature. Okay, so it lets you look at the top of your library when it's just the 0/4 for 2 mana half. And if you want to play that card, you can reconfigure it, and equipment onto something, and then play the cards from the top. Very cool card. Reconfigures just equip. Well, it's a bit different, right? Because it's equipped for a creature, right? Like it gives like basically a creature equipment. It's pretty cool. Yeah, so I'm gonna attack with the Kaldra here. Then I'm gonna move the Kaldra over to Fervent Champion post combat, so I can block the endurance. I think that's worth the 1 less damage to like not take 3 here. Opponent, I feel like sacrificing Wall of Roots to gain 5 life here is very worth it. I think I would here if I were my opponent. I'm just gonna move this over here. Yeah, poor Tamio. That I love the card. I like the art. I like what the cards do. It's all the card is very cool. I like the new Tamio. But sad. I like the character Tamio too, so she will be missed. Is Maul of the Skyclaves lethal? They block here. 8 minus 4 is, or yeah, 8 minus 4 is 4. Put them to 3 life. Could also get Sword of Fire Ice. I feel like I just want to get them all. Like putting Yawgmoth to 3 makes it a lot harder for them to combo if they do rip a Court of Calling or a Yawgmoth. And they have to, chump block with the endurance too. Her ultimate being a normal, easy to destroy artifact token, odd choice. I guess. I feel like players will like very regularly like try to talk about how the Planeswalker's ultimates are underwhelming, but it's almost like never that relevant in like actual games of Magic. The ultimate just doesn't matter that much. And it's also true that it's also true that okay, so this is a tangent, but I play a lot of Dungeons and Dragons, and players will like very often like call a class like bad or good based on its like level 20 ability. But I've been playing D&D for like 4 or 5 years now. I've only been at level 20 for like maybe 2 months of that entire period, and I don't know. It's just like that's not really like the heart of the card. You know what I mean? But yeah, like if you have a Planeswalker in play, you've used its ability enough to ultimate it, like you're likely winning that game most of the time. You're ahead. Favorite D&D class to play? In D&D, it's a sorcerer for sure. I like the amount of flexibility you get, the amount of creativity you can have on your turns. But there's like really no class I dislike. I think I've played all of them at this point, although I've barely played bards or druids. I played a druid for Runaway Robots campaign for like the Strixhaven stuff recently. It was really fun. No, I haven't seen the new Jitse. Is this also reconfigure? It's a saga? The Life of Umezawa. The art on this is fucking sick. It really reminds me of Sekiro. What a hand. I think I'm gonna keep on the draw. I don't know. It's kind of weird hands. So so you get to Umezawa's Jite them for chapters 1 and 2, just 1 use. Then when this exile this log, return to battlefield transformed as a 2/3, and you can. What a weird effect. What a weird effect. You can add a black with a creature, and spin a mana for instants and sorcery spells. Finally a buff to Luris decks, huh? Finally a buff to Luris decks. Hard to evaluate this card too. Pretty good draw. Yeah, certainly a hard card to evaluate. I think I attack with the Ragavan first. I could hit like Wall of Roots as something to play instead of playing the Fervent Champion here. But I think I'll use the Champion instead of cast the Champion instead of Rest in Peace. So I might even pitch the Solitude or Rip to Solitude. They have New Besage You. I think the card is going to be like. I don't like it for modern, like specifically in mono green Tron, letting their Sylvan Scryings and Expedition maps tutor up an answer to Blood Moon or Alpine Moon feels weird to me. And just like I really think that this cycle of lands should have had the grandeur ability rather than the channel ability. That way you have like an actual downside associated with playing these cards, if that makes sense. I don't think I'm casting Strangler, guys. I'm just gonna hold up the Hardcast Solitude, I think. Not a poke with the 2 months, 6 random content. Yeah, I've been wanting to play more of it. It just feels like the metagame is maybe not quite right still. Do you plan on doing a long stream again on the last day? Yeah, but it kind of depends. It's like if I happen to be very ahead on the last day, I think I'll cast the Solitude here. If I happen to be like very ahead on the last day, it won't be. I won't be doing like what I did last time, where it was like 12-hour, 14-hour, 14-hour. But I do plan on like making a push at the end, no matter what. Like even if I've got the record broken, I'll try to do a long stream just so I can try to like further break the record or like cement the largest lead I can. Okay, they didn't have Endurance last turn, and they didn't cast Young Wolf last turn, so I'm not expecting them to have Endurance here. So, because I'm pretty sure Young Wolf was their draw step. Thanks again, old school. What's his goal is to make counterspells useless? See Besage and Urza Saga? Well, that doesn't really make any sense. They've printed tons of great counterspells lately. New one-drop monkey. They even like made counterspell legal in modern. Counterspells are better in modern right now than they've ever been. I don't think that's a great argument. Wait, how did they have both of these cards in their hand and not cast anything last turn? Doesn't make much sense. I'm just gonna send everything at them. They're gonna trade Insect Token for Ragavan, then I'll Ending the Grist and replay Ragavan. Simeon Sling. Wow, what a great name. I would like one of these too. A Samurai Monkey that throws things at my opponents. They just straight up didn't block Ragavan. They must have Court of Calling. They just didn't block Ragavan? What the hell? I don't understand. Okay. +1/+1. Equipped or blocked by a creature. Deals 1 damage to defending player. Reconfigure for 2. The new Jade Avenger, I think. Oh, so they cracked the Peatland. Thank you, thank you. Deck tech for Snapcaster 96. Alright, they've got Yawgmoth down, but they only have 2 life to work with. That being said, I don't really have good attacks anymore. Yeah, I don't have good attacks, so I've just passed back. But they only get 1 Yawgmoth activation, and we have Rest in Peace in play too, so we should be in pretty good shape. I'm kind of surprised they're not just cashing it in. I don't know. Do I have an Alpha Strike here? What does an Alpha Strike look like? I attack with everything. They go block here, block here, block here, sack. Yeah, I think we still don't quite have a good attack. Closer though. So this is a blue-white hammer list. So this is the version that's trying to hedge against the Ragavan decks. This is probably not the version I'd recommend playing, at least in like the modern leagues at the moment. It's fine, but I don't think that the Ragavan decks are like this is what you want to bust out when like Ragavan decks are definitely at the top of the metagame. But I feel like the Ragavan decks are on the decline. I feel like 4-color Omnath is like really the deck that's picking up in popularity. A lot of like tier 2, tier 3 decks are also becoming more popular. This is just not the version I'd play at the moment. That being said, I do think Teferi Time Raveler and Hammer is actually underexplored. I think that very few opponents are going to be ready for it. It really helps you fight through interaction. It can provide you a lot of card advantage. So I like that a lot. I'm not a big fan of Steel Shaper's Gifted Hammer. Also, as like a little side note. And I wouldn't be on the pro red creatures in the main deck, but I am like really interested in this in this Teferi in the main deck. I love that. So yeah, I would be on I guess I could pull up my mono white hammer list I've been playing off stream in a second. We can take a look at how I would maybe build this list. Cause I've been liking like this Kaldra, this mono white Kaldra hammer. With blacksmith skill. No, this is not sorry, not the right list, not the right list. I know yeah, this is a much older list. It's in the stream decker, I thought I called it a blacksmith's hammer. There it is. This is it. Yeah, so like I'm playing the 4 blacksmith skill. I do think if you're blue white and playing Teferi, you need 22 lands. So you could maybe do something like 22 lands, 1 blacksmith skill, 22nd land, 2 Teferis in this list. You can take a screenshot of this. You can also find this list in the stream decker. That would be my recommendation to you. Okay, so does another Fervent Champion give me an Alpha Strike? I think I should wait a turn. Yes, because they have an extra blocker, right? I'll have the extra attacker next turn. Is having Teferi better than Lurrus? Well, it's not just Teferi, it's also Kaldra, Nettlecyst. But at the very least, I think it's interesting and underexplored. I also think that one of Hammer's biggest weaknesses at the moment is Living End, and so Teferi helps with that a decent amount, right? Talks with the insect token. Take it, I guess. Could maybe chump with Ragavan. That list is in the stream decker if you want to find it. Must have known I was drawing Maul, I guess. Yeah, so they can... This is maybe where they use their Yawgmoth, right? Maybe I should have put it on the Solitude or something. But I can also just... I kind of like making them use their Yawgmoth pre-combat. Because they have the Birds of Paradise to chump. Been playing Black-White Hammer and playing Fetid Heath to have Voidwalker the sideboard as a hedge against Living End. I really don't like Fetid Heath because like you're gonna have so many like Saga Inkmoth Fetid Heath draws, right? Hi from Texas GMS. Okay, so I play Fervent Champion. I have 5 attackers. They only get to eat 1 creature in combat. They get to block 2 more effectively with Wall of Roots, though. And they chump block twice and eat 1 of my creatures. I think that's fine. Even though this means I need to draw land to activate Maul. I think I have an attack finally. Although the Fervent Champions become a bit obnoxious, so... Okay, this one targets... Here. Wait, what? Here? Okay. Looking to play Blue White Control this weekend. Expecting a lot of Grixis Shadow. I feel like the matchup is pretty good for me outside of the actual card Turok. Fridge are calling you delusional. You're absolutely correct that Blue White is favored against Grixis. Even now that like Grixis has sideboard cards against Blue White, you're favored. You're not like the thing about Blue White players that like is so frustrating recently is that at one point I feel like they had like a 70-30 matchup against Grixis Shadow before Shadow adjusted its sideboard to have Turok and Spell Pierce. And now the matchup is like 55% or maybe like 60% in Blue-White's favor, but the Blue-White players are just acting like that all of a sudden they have a bad matchup, which is just not the case. You're still like a very heavy favorite. And you're going to lose sometimes, but you have a really good matchup game 1, you've got a lot of powerful sideboard cards, but it's just closer than it used to be. But it is a sentiment I've heard a lot lately. Yeah, also from Evan. I know Evan's been saying it too, but sometimes you gotta give your boy some tough love, you know? They have Court of Calling. Yikes. They're courting for 4? What is this? Thrun? Waffo thinks it's unfavorable. I mean, I don't know, man. I guess I disagree with Wafu here, too. Like, I've been playing blue-white control lately, too, and been beating Grixis Shadow. I've also been main decking a lot of Chalices still. But you're a Chalice of the Void, Prismatic Ending, Teferi, Time Raveler, Solitude deck. Supreme Verdict too. Like your deck is like just full of bangers against them. They got Outland Liberator for my Maul. I think Teamer is the best rec deck. Obviously, there is some conversation though. Well, if it only runs one Chalice, I mean, I don't know what to say. If you run only one Chalice, you're gonna have a worse time against Shadow. So they have 2 good blocks here, or 3 good blocks. And they lose 2 of their creatures. I lose 1 in combat, so it should be a good attack. Chalice is also like a good card in the metagame at the moment. It shouldn't actually matter that I did mess this up, but it shouldn't actually matter that much because they don't have the Geist back anymore or anything to block this. What do you think is the better matchup between blue, white, and Hammer? Blue, white's very favored against Hammer too. I don't know. It's just so hard to think that the blue-white has a bad Grixis matchup when it plays like literally all of the best cards against Grixis. It's a Prismatic Ending, Chalice, Rest in Peace, Supreme Verdict, Solitude, Teferi, Time Raveler deck. I just can't imagine it as a bad matchup. So hopefully this finishes the... Oh, they have the answer. I guess they have to get Kaldra because they've got this game. I do get to flip it back. Make it become day again. Is the Maul 2 less 2 equip to a knight? Oh yeah, that's a good point. But they had this guy, right? The Liberator. I can either by keep losing. I mean, I've been beating it as blue-white. I haven't been playing that much blue-white, but... I mean, Shadow's a very good deck. You can still lose to it. Like, the matchup is probably, like, somewhere between 55 and 60% for blue-white, but that, like, you can definitely run bad at, like, 3 times in a row against Shadow and lose all 3 of those matches. Do I attack with everybody? Probably, right? They put a wall in front of the Kaldra. They have 4 blockers. I guess they actually have 3 good blocks against 4. Yeah, never mind. I should just attack with the Kaldra. This is why I seem to have worse draws and floods for Shadow. Yeah. You're gonna lose when you stumble for sure. I don't know. Just take those L's, I think. I really feel like control players have like this worst problem where if they lose a matchup that they feel they're favored in, it just feels so bad. And I say this as a control player. It feels really bad to lose a matchup that you feel you're favored in. It feels so rough to feel desperately that you're right and lose all the same. You know what I mean? All right, what a long match. On the draw, no companion. Probably keeping this. Secluded Courtyard. Choose a creature type. Add 1 mana of any color. Spend this mana only to cast a creature spell of the chosen type. Or creature card. Why not? Oh, activate ability or cast creature spell. Man, rest in peace, Unclaimed Territory. That card was a rare, and it's like just worse than this uncommon. Cool card though, like it. Big fan. This is actually like quietly huge for tribal decks. Yeah, this is actually like, wait, this is a huge deal for tribal decks. Unclaimed Territory was uncommon? Was it? If everybody's saying it, I think it was a rare. Let's see who's right, who's wrong. Oh, I was wrong. Okay. Sorry for disrespecting Unclaimed Territory like that. Kind of looks like we're playing against Rhinos. If we were on the play, we'd have double Ranger-Captain against Rhinos. If this is Rhinos, we're on the draw. I think I'll get Batterskull here. Okay, but yeah, but back to my point. This is huge for tribal decks because it's just like you can almost build the mana base entirely of these lands. You have to play like a couple of other cards, but your mana base is mostly these lands now, which is a really big deal. I feel. Man, I feel like I just never win the die roll against. I'm done complaining. Complaints were coming out of my mouth. Complaints were coming out of my mouth. I'm gonna put them back in here. I'm gonna put the complaints back into my mouth, and they're gonna stay there. They're gonna stay there. Yeah, looks like we won the die roll after all. Not gonna block. I guess if I blocked and they killed it, then it's really not that bad because I have another Ranger Captain. But just like having two Ranger Captains is really good on this board, right? How about 3 Ranger Captains? I think I'll grab a Ragavan, cast the Ragavan, trade Ragavan for a Shardless Agent, and I'll have another one in hand. Okay, but back to the Secluded Courtyard. Like, in tribal decks, you can now just, I think, almost... So you have Cavern, Unclaimed Territory, this Courtyard card. You have Reflecting Pool that you can play as you can play a couple copies. Like, the first Reflecting Pool is basically free. Or almost free. You have Ancient Ziggurat. I guess you just kind of Ziggurat. That's 16 5-color lands that enter untapped and are painless. Which is just huge. Huge win for tribal decks. Well, Vesuva enters tapped, so you're not really that interested in it. Yeah, they misclicked. They very clearly misclicked. Could take this trade. I think I'm just gonna take 4 for now. Bit worried about Fury here. Fury would be pretty bad. Looks like maybe no Fury. We don't talk about Fury. No. I'm gonna Moon him, I think. If they have a Force of Negation, they'll use it on this. I don't think I'm supposed to sack a Ranger Captain to stop Force of Negation. It's just not that big a deal. They have the island anyways. This does cut them off of, like, literally their Cascade cards, but we have their Cascade cards, like, very well covered already. Doesn't Humans, for instance, with Campy Lens as well? Yeah. But, you don't have to play, you have a lot more flexibility with your mana base. Like, you don't have to, you could maybe just play no Ziggurats, and then you won't have those awkward Aether Vial Ziggurat hands anymore. Where the Rhinos, I sacked Ranger Captain in response to Violent Outburst, so they couldn't cast the Crashing Footfalls. The first time they misclicked, though, and they probably will lose this game because of it. Did I miss you talking about Phyrexian back? Yeah, so Phyrexian back. That is scary. The first Phyrexian card we saw is totally balanced. It looks like the Phyrexian mana part seems fine. It even has a drawback to being cast with Phyrexian mana, and it's maybe all of the Phyrexian cards will have a drawback to being cast with Phyrexian mana. And I also very highly doubt that Wizards will print any like any cards like Gut Shot, Surgical Extraction, Gitaxian Probe, any 1 mana card with that you can pay for a Phyrexian mana. I doubt that those are gonna appear in this set. I could be wrong, but I would be surprised to see any card like that. You saw exactly 1 card of Phyrexian mana. Yeah, but there's very likely going to be more, right? Like, I doubt this is the only card in the set with Phyrexian mana. It could be, but I think there's going to be more. What was the drawback of casting Tamio? If you cast Tamio with the Phyrexian cost, then it comes into play with 2 less loyalty counters. I actually think this will be the only card in this set with Phyrexian instead of future. Yeah, maybe that's right. I think that's a fine guess. Like that, I think that's a good guess. Yeah. Why doesn't Jin-Gitaxias have Phyrexian? I mean, the original Praetors, none of them had Phyrexian casting costs, but doesn't mean they can't have it, right? What about the White Channel line? I think that one's probably not that problematic. I don't love the design of lands, like these legendary lands. If you play them as a one of, they almost have no downside when compared to basic lands. Obviously, they have the downside of being blood mooned, but I tend to find that to be like not super relevant. Yeah, so I don't really like the design of them very much, but I think that they're probably, the white one's probably fine. The green one seems like pretty problematic for giving Tron the ability to tutor up a answer to Blood Moon or Alpine Moon with someone scrying Ancient Expedition map. That feels kind of concerning to me. Ancient Stirring is a little bit too. And it's just like very free for them to play 1 copy of this card. Costs them almost nothing. Maybe dash Ragavan to play around that. Just wasn't sure exactly what they're on. I probably could have sniffed it out if I thought a little bit harder. Well, Blood Moon here doesn't matter that much because they have the ability to fetch a swamp, a forest. Although I'm surprised once they have the force in play, Blood Moon doesn't matter almost at all. But I probably should have dashed Ragavan on. I tried to I didn't think hard enough about what they could have, to be honest. Yeah, Blood Moon's pretty bad on the draw. We can maybe play 1 copy. We'll just play 3 endings. Ending's not very good either. I don't usually like Giant Killer either. This Western is also very good against Tron. Does it blow up? Does it blow up lands? Because it just blows up. I thought it just blew up artifacts and enchantments. Because that's not that good against Tron. But if it's non-basic lands, then maybe it's fine. It hits non-basic lands too. Yeah, that is pretty good. Okay, so that is kind of an interesting point, right? That this card is very good in Tron, but it's also good against Tron. That's not really something I had considered. I still don't love the design, but it's interesting. The lands Discord is losing their minds about Beseiju. It's funny. I think I get Batterskull here, and then I can try to set up like Feast and Famine on Batterskull, potentially. I can maybe trade Batterskull for a token and equip onto a bigger creature. I've done that a couple times in this matchup. Like that creature. Like that creature. Just trying to think if I want to cast it this turn. Yeah, it's pretty mana efficient because next turn I can equip Batterskull for 2 mana and then also cast my other Stoneforge Mystic. At the very least, it seems like Kamigawa's gonna have a lot of exciting new cards to play with, huh? Which is always the goal. It was always the hope. Or my hope, at least. You can needle the channel abilities, yeah, but then you can just play it as a land. Kind of cool to Force of Vigor or Prismatic Command here. Would have been a reason to get Kaldra instead. Not too scared about Borrower. Okay, taking 4. Feeling bad. Do I grab Kaldra now? Do I get Feast and Famine? I think I like Feast and Famine. I can take 8 this turn, and then next turn I can go sort of Feast and Famine onto the Fervent Champion, hit them, untap mana, hardcast Solitude, equip Feast and Famine onto Solitude. Toast with the 3 months, appreciate you. You think the new Beseiju gets Rin and 6 banned? Anybody who will see a new card printed like Beseiju and tell you a ban will happen for sure because of this card is either better than me or they're being just like a bit too hyperbolic. But I personally cannot tell you that a card will be banned after just seeing it for 10 minutes. Like a different card will be banned because of this card after seeing it for just, like very briefly once while streaming and focusing on a match. It is too early to say. So this helps me play around a protection spell or burn spell, although they can just kill the Fervent Champion in response, I guess. Like, I don't feel like this card is game breaking. I just don't think it's like very well designed, I don't like these legendary. I don't think these lands that enter untapped, tap for a color, and have like very little downside if you just play 1 copy. I am dead, right? Yeah, I die next turn. I can replay champion, equip, but I take 4. Okay, game 3. Maybe I win this game if I get Kaldra. Being on the play for game 3 is a really big deal, at least. I could consider playing 1 Blood Moon on the play. I think I'll do that over 3rd ending. Don't really want more than 1, especially because of Force of Vigor. Yeah, there are cards that are like crazily strong, but I really don't think it's like very likely that I'll be able to look at a card and tell you that this card will get another card banned without playtesting it first. I'm also really surprised the channel costs 2 mana also, though, instead of 3. Especially because it has a cost reducer on the channel effect. I think I attack first, because if they have Dead Gone, I'm going to want to play Sentinel Ragavan rather than Fervent Champion Sentinel. Rin 6 is also already a bit borderline. I don't feel Rin 6 is like in like the top 5 cards that you could like really consider banning in Modern now. It's very strong, but it's not like close to being banned in Modern in my opinion. Fuck. Fury's so freaking good. A little too late, Ranger Captain. A little too late. Not too late? Opium? Drew lands. Huge. 4 cards in my opponent's hand. Well, I'm jamming. Obviously, there's a lot of cards they can have to beat this here. They've got 4 cards in their hand. Okay. No rhinos. Not a bad draw. I wouldn't be too surprised if my opponent has another Cascader in their hand. Based on them not doing anything else besides Violent Outburst this last turn. They have 4 cards in their hand at the moment. One of them was a Misty Rainforest. Now they're passing. What an absurd draw. What a unreasonable draw. Obviously, if they have Force of Vigor here, it's pretty bad. It's horrible for me. But I think if they had Force of Vigor last turn, they would have Force of Vigor the sword rather than cast the Violent Outburst. I could be wrong. Wow. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. Yeah, Ragavan who? Javier is the king of modern. Opponent probably has another Violent Outburst. I had my mouse over concede. Did I? I didn't. Did I? I don't remember. I might have. I just don't remember having it over the concede button. I maybe had like the right click for like yields and stuff. After I got furied. Oh, did I? Did I just like instinctively? It's funny. I might have. I don't know. I'm not in control of my actions. It's all muscle memory. Let's go. Feels great to beat Rhinos because I do think that's this deck's worst matchup, so feels good to win that one. Did we lose at 3-0 last league, or were we 2-0? I think we were 3-0 where we lost to Creativity last league. If Rhinos is a bad matchup, don't you have sideboard cards? We can't have cards for every bad matchup. Rhinos is not that popular, so I think having dedicated sideboard cards for Rhinos is not that important. I'm also main decking Ranger-Captain, which is a really good card against Rhinos. So, and you can beat the matchup, just like you saw here. But it's like, I'm kind of choosing to beat Belcher by playing Deflecting Palm instead of playing like a card like Drannith Magistrate for the Rhinos matchup. You just can't choose to beat everything in Magic, and I'm just kind of intentionally saying I think my matchup against Belcher is so bad I'd rather hedge against that instead. But with the Deflecting Palms in the sideboard, I think that Rhinos is probably a worse matchup. Let's get see, they didn't kill my Ragavan, so they probably don't have a removal spell. So I guess I'm getting Kaldra. Kind of weird, right? Maybe you could have gotten Sword and Fire Ice anyways. Both seem fine, to be honest. I'm gonna side as if they're Grixis Shadow. What a hilariously easy game, though. It's my sideboard for Grixis Shadow. Yeah, the Ragavan check into the Kaldra check. They failed both of them. You guys remember yesterday we trophied with this deck and we just like match 5 was like the smoothest, easiest match of like the entire season. It's awesome. Just Ragavan. I had ending for their Aether Vial both games, and they didn't have any lands that tapped for white. Also, if you my opponent is not allowed to complain about Prismatic Ending on the Vial though, because it's just like it's so greedy to play so many colorless lands. Like they didn't have any lands that tap for color that entire match. And it's just like in this new Prismatic Ending world, it's just so greedy to be like, what am I supposed to do against Prismatic Ending? Just maybe play some lands that tap for colors, you know? Like they just like didn't have a single white source. Well, maybe not as good this game as it was last game. Is Aether Vial any good? Aether Vial is still a fine card in my opinion. It's lost a lot of stock, absolutely. I do think it is a playable card still. That being said, like you really can't keep one land Aether Vial hands anymore. Is like a big issue for the card. Do you have a sideboard guide for this list? I do, yeah. It's available on CFB Pro. It came out yesterday, I think, maybe the day before. A whole deck guide, not just a sideboard guide. Am I getting a second Forge-Tender here? Could get Ragavan, could get Fervent Champ. Is CFB Pro is going to continue being a thing. Or, yeah, I mean, I saw this post the other day. Maybe I could Sentinel here, actually. I saw this post online the other day, and it feels very in line with what I've been saying the last couple days. Where, in my opinion, like, Star City removing their articles, their competitive articles, is less indicative, in my mind, of people being, like, less interested in competitive Magic as it is people don't engage with articles like they used to. It's like, articles were huge 10 years ago, before Twitch and YouTube were very popular, but now Twitch and YouTube are the #1 way for players to engage with the game and learn. And it's just, you know, that is the reality now. Not that I mean, I write a lot of articles. You know, articles have a lot of value, and I think that they are still very important, but I would definitely say that the amount that people care about articles existing and is like not correlated to like the amount that they actually read articles. It's because they started charging. Yeah, here I don't know. People talk a lot about how competitive articles should be free. I don't think that's like a reasonable business model for Magic content, but it's also like the best value you can possibly get for your money if you want to learn anything about Magic is CFB Pro or was also Star City was also a great deal before too. Like the amount of like wells of consistent and constant knowledge you get for like $5 a month is just absurd, the amount of value you get. What are we doing here? I guess I'm main phasing Solitude. They can't drown it, and if they have Dress Down, then they don't have a 13/13 shadow on their turn. It's like I'm not saying that $5 is not like $5 a month is not a lot. I'm not saying that everybody can afford it. But what I am saying is it is a very good deal. Like you get a lot of value for your money. It's like a way better deal than any like Twitch subscription, and they do have the Dress Down. And it's just like the fact that players like kind of like expect it to be free is just unreasonable. It's just unreasonable. SCG hadn't been $5 a month, so I mean I'm just talking about channel CFB Pro. I don't actually know what Star City was charging, to be honest with you. But CFB Pro is $5 a month. You also you have other options where you can get store credit back and get the same amount of store credit that you spend. It's not available to everybody, but it is available to a lot of people. It's just a great deal. The problem with articles, the content isn't demand. Yeah, I agree. I absolutely agree. I absolutely agree that the issue with articles is that people are not engaging with them as much as like they have been in the past. But that doesn't mean that there isn't like value to them, of course, either. But yeah, I absolutely agree that is the issue, is that people are just more interested in watching streams and watching videos than reading, which is fine. I'm not saying you have to change that, but yeah. So I guess I have to chump block. Chump block with Sentinel, I think. They have so much mana, it's not that relevant anymore. Okay. So we get our opponent down to 1, but then we can Ending the Shadow. Yeah, we don't need to kick SCG while they're down. I think podcasts are great, but they got rid of those too. I mean, there are plenty of great MTG podcasts. Midweek Metagame, Faithless Brewing, Dive Down. All great, all great. Lots more too. Well, that was an easy match. Okay, our opponent usually plays Orzhov Stoneblade. Can't keep this hand. Okay, not playing that this time. Reveal Kihira. I'm gonna keep this hand. Don't want to see an MDFC on turn 1. Thank you. You need to license it for every country of viewer in? It sucks. For a medium that's so much about self-expression and sharing your soul, music sure is fucking hard to share. Man. Just like so controlled. Alright, Chalice is good against us. Only lucking out. We do have some endings in the main deck though. Yeah, it's also like, yeah, Twitch doesn't know I have permission, and so like that can be a pain too, of course. These Ranger Captains, I guess, are also not that good because of the Chalice. I just try to continue to fight through counter spells here. 3 cards left in our opponent's hand. Go Ragavan, or Fervent Champion, go. Castle Ardenvale. Spreading Seas. Put Kihira in hand. Do it. Okay, opponent's not F6, so I'm going to play Ranger Captain. But I resolved. Let's get Ragavan. They might have Supreme Verdict here. Not too much we can do about that, unfortunately. We can upkeep sack. It's not worth, though. They drew 2. Okay. They do have Prismatic Endings as outs to Chalice. They do have Verdicts. I could have sacked again after, whatever. Get got if they have Spreading Seas. Got. Max punished. Okay. Can't cast the Fury because of the Spreading Seas. Ultra max punished. Feels bad. Doesn't Fervent Champion have haste? Why not run it out? I forgot to play the Fervent Champion. Damn it. We'll play it next turn. Do you like this matchup? Historically, yeah. But obviously could lose to it. Third counter spell. Moon shuts off the castles, which is nice. Fourth counter spell. Okay. Kahira in the hand, no attacks. Messes up, doesn't activate castle. And his Kahira mystery card. Plays Kahira. Moon would turn these back into mountains. Yeah, we're getting pretty close to conceding. Bummer. So I want 3 Wear Tears in the Feast and Famine. Wear Tear is better than Prismatic Ending for dealing with Chalice. Might still play like 1. I do also want to cut the Maul, the Skyclaves. And then I think we'd play 2 Fury, 2 Solitude, then 1 Ending. This looks pretty good to me. Well, I definitely like triple Sentinel on the play against blue-white. Why not Fury there? I can't hardcast Fury because there's double spreading seas on 2 of my 3 red sources. I can evoke Fury. I'd rather just concede. Where it hits things on the Chalice. It just hits Chalice, but it hits it at instant speed, which is pretty relevant. And because I don't have a Triumph, I can't Prismatic Ending to Fairy. This also hits Spreading Seas, though, I guess. I'm pretty sure I'm getting Kaldra. That way I'm not committing too much into Verdict. Listen to the song on loop. Sometimes I switch it up. Sometimes I'll play like Push It to the Limit from Scarface. That's what I'm listening to after Don't Let Me Be Misunderstood. And before Deputy of Detention. Yikes. Oh, actually they can't have it because of Kahira. Right. No Fear of Charm. Not when they play Basic Planes on turn 2. I also get to draw 3 cards, you know. Not gonna be the end of the world. They go to discard. I'm feeling pretty freaking good about game 2, chat. Solitude. Feeling less good. Double Wear Tear is also not great. Why didn't they Solitude the Stoneforge Mystic? They wouldn't have had to go to discard. I don't think I sack a land. I think we've got too many 3-drops, unfortunately for me. They Verdict me next turn, I get to draw 3 cards. This is a land drop again. Do I play the 4th Esper Sentinel? It cycles if they Verdict. It's probably fine. Is lethal through 1 removal spell next turn as well. I guess I shouldn't have 6 because if they counter this. Subtlety, pitch, counterspell. I guess I'll probably bottom this. I've got definitely better draws, but definitely fine for Sentinel to be a mind rot there. I'm actually pretty surprised they have this in against me, to be honest. So they have Solitude, so they're gonna go to 1 here. I assume. Yeah, let's go ahead and draw cards see if we find Ragavan or Fervent Champion. Yeah, they're at 1, and I have 8 hasty 1-drops in my deck. I'm about to draw 2 cards. I assume. 3 cards to the draw step 2. Ranger-Captain is also lethal, so I have 12 lethal draws here and 3 looks at them. Pretty good odds. Three for 3, huh? 3 for 3. Even beat another Solitude. Maybe should save some luck for game 3, huh? don't love this hand. I think it's a keep though. It's fine. Definitely fine hand. Not cold to Chalice, which is nice. A little bit cold to Spreading Seas. Usually like to lead on Monkey in these spots, so that way if they like ending the Monkey, I can go Stoneforge Mystic into Fervent Champion plus activate Mystic. Revenge of the Seth, good username. Thank you for the 2 months. So in order for them to deal with Ragavan here, they have to Solitude. No Solitude. Exile Castle Ardenvale there. I'm gonna get sort of Fire Ice here, I think. Okay, so I'm gonna activate Stoneforge Mystic, equip onto the Fervent Champion. I kind of suspect that they have Archmage's Charm to steal the Fervent Champion in response, but then I can Prismatic Ending the Fervent Champion and hit them with Ragavan at least. Kind of cold to Verdict here. Oh, would have loved to get to cast that. Alright, a lot of good draws here, but really need to rip something. At least it's a spell. My opponent decides to play the Teferi Hero of Dominaria. A bold choice. Means that they have that plus other interaction up. GG. Sag. Can't win them all. Can't win them all. Well, my opponent has nothing. And they activate Colonnade, and I exile it, and then I equip both swords, and I live in Magical Christmas Land. Could win. But if they had nothing, they would have already Kahirid in hand. Let the untap trigger resolve first. They could have all sorcery speed interaction too. Oh, they have the best possible. Alright, we have to draw Fury. Exactly Fury, I think. Yeah, keeping this on top doesn't work because they just get to ultimate this, which we're never beating. Alright, GG. Rough stuff. Rough stuff. I think I'm gonna run it back. We're currently... Oh. It's a pretty good one. Nice consolation prize. Run it back. We have a good record with this deck today.